filming this in the messy room with the messy backdrop. I just went back to work today after 8 weeks of paternal bonding leave. If you can imagine something more dreadful. The going back, not the leave part. The leave was magic. But it did feel a lot better to feel employed again and to have that structure. While I enjoyed that time off, I wouldn't describe it as good for me. Not in a. And it was good. It was nice. It was very nice. But in some ways, you don't ever want to be in a position to see so much light, because going back into the darkness is a moving experience. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Feels good to be back. I like a challenge. I like structure. I like work. I'm definitely somebody who is better and feels better and enjoys working. But I'm also somebody who longs freedom from structured work. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's kind of a cross to bear situation. But yeah, I'm back. I'm doing it. We've been going a lot lately to the library, the Milford Library here. I mean, we've been doing it for a while, like close to a year, but really on this leave, I started going a lot because I'm enjoying going down the rabbit hole of getting different children's books to read with Caden at night. It's like I unlocked this whole new chapter of parenting where you get to, like, you have this excuse. Like, there's so many things that I wish I could do, but it's like, I just don't have the time, right? Like, I wish I could watch more anime. I wish I could read more books. I wish I could play video games is a huge one for me. I haven't been able to play a video game, like, for real in a long time. But there's all these things, and there's very few things that are built in to your life. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, one that I sort of had this epiphany where I'm like, I have this time every night where I'm putting down Caden, and he likes to read stories. And the library is just this like endless exploration of different children's books. And so I have so much fun going there and looking for good books and reading and trying to find something that is like really his style, his humor, books that I feel like I could read in a particularly theatrical way to make it more enjoyable for him, make it more fun for him, make him laugh, books that have fantastic art. And it's like I have to do it anyways. And so it's almost like a forced exploration task. I don't know, there's just no other real spot in my life that has had such a new awakening creatively. And I find a lot of these books to be terribly inspiring. So, so I've really been liking the library. And then on top of that, the library just has a tremendous amount of DVDs, like a massive DVD collection. And that I already knew because as kids, we didn't really go to like Blockbuster as much. Our parents were more about just like renting movies from the library. But in modern times, they're all on DVD, but there are so many movies that I would just never find on streaming services, stuff that I've long forgotten about, movies that are just really elusive or unpopular. And so you already know from some of the casual review videos that I've done that I've been sort of catching up on some movies that I have not seen come across streaming platforms in a very long time. And so I've really this is all to say, I've really come to truly appreciate the library and the service that it provides. And the fact that it has a free, it's like a free subscription. You pay for it with your taxes. So why not use it, right? And don't even get me started. I mean, if I haven't already turned you on to Libby, which is the digital audiobook, digital just the digital version of the library that's also offered to you for free that you can get on your phone. That's a huge benefit. And the library, the Milford one in particular, has a like public access open source 3D printer that you can use. You could submit work files. And so Caden has been really into robots. And we went and saw the 3D printer one day, and it was working on something, it was printing something. And I said, look, dude, it's a little robot. And he goes, oh, and he was so into it. And I said, what do you think that robot's building? And he said, I think it's building other robots. And I thought, that's a pretty good thought. So I got the information about how to submit a request to build something, and we went through with the process. And so I found a little, what do you call it, like a 3D printer file for a little robot figurine. And we took it in and we submitted it, and the librarian said, well, to be honest, we're about to replace that 3D printer with a much better 3D printer. And when we do, we'll use this one as our test. And so leave your name and number, and I'll give you a call, and he can come down and watch the robot build it, because it'll probably only take about 30 minutes. So obviously that was like fantastic and awesome, and he was super excited, and I was super excited. And yeah, it was just a really wholesome and true experience where you're like, dang, these libraries have almost become a hidden gem. You know, my millennial upbringing, my digital upbringing has so blinded me to the idea of anything that the government provides to being, you know, a valuable resource. But that has been renewed for me for sure. Anyways, I think a lot about the user experience of the library and how I could donate my time to sort of give back, just because they are so seemingly desperate for nothing more than for people to just go to the library. It seems like they just want people to utilize the resource. And I think about how could I like help expand that awareness. And it sort of always comes back to the same thing of like, I could make videos all day long, but like what platform, in what way would somebody view a video about their public library that would motivate them? And what would that demographic be? You know, because nobody's, you know, you could put a library advertisement on TikTok or Reels, but that would get scrolled past so fast. But I guess that's like sort of the challenge, right? It's sort of a mental thought experiment. But it just gives me something to think about. I cannot figure out where or how these attachments are supposed to be mounted. I assume it's supposed to be mounted like so. Right? Something I'll have to figure out here. I did a lot of, I've been wanting to buy a new vacuum for a while now, just because our vacuum currently is like one of the cheaper on the market, and it's been fine, but the longevity, like I can already just tell the motor's burning out. I was vacuuming some stuff, like these little white pieces of fuzz, sometimes it just won't pick those up, and I'm thinking like, no. So I did a lot of research on Reddit, and it really is like, there's this whole subreddit on people who are like vacuum nerds, and it really seems like you can either be in the $20 to $200 range and you'll get a vacuum, but if you want a really good vacuum, you got to be in like the $800 to $1,200 range. And vacuums, like any other mechanical machine, it seems like to really get the best for your money in terms of longevity and power is to have them serviced regularly, like a car, which is just something I never think of. That sounds like some old 1950s stuff prior to the idea of just throwing everything away, you know? Like there's some old adage in marketing where you have your consumables, which is like your bread and your butter and your toilet paper. And those are things you have to buy regularly. And then you have items that are your possessions. I think they use a different word, but which are things like a microwave or a vacuum or your car, things that you just buy once. And so there's in this sort of like philosophy that in order to really become successful, to hit the cash cow as a business, you find a way to make your product become a consumable. And that's sort of like the planned obsolescence. I lost my train of thought, but vacuums, everything, all consumer, especially consumer electronics. It's like the idea of going to a TV repairman is crazy when TVs are so laughably inexpensive now, you know, in comparison to what they used to be. We just bought a TV because ours blew out. The one that broke was the same size and of the same quality, and I paid just about $1,000 for it in 2016, and now we just bought a replacement for less than $400. So, but that comes at a cost. It's just, you know, TVs burn out faster, they're less valuable. So if your TV breaks, it's like, how much money could you possibly make as a TV repairman when it's just really not that expensive to go buy a new one? Same thing with vacuums, right? Why buy the $1,200 one when I'll just buy another $150 one in 5 or 6 years? It is very hot and sweaty in this room.